Yeah, I've just been learning about growing and trying to figure out how to like make it all work in terms of like career. It's so hard like state to state. It's so different.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of just where you are depends, so much with it.
We're on right now? What the hell? Yeah! Yeah! Which is perfectly fine. Let this man know too, because he's over here talking loud. I didn't know we're starting, but we are here. We are at a new episode of Roll It Motherfucking Up. Yeah, brand new episode. Yes, right here. Happy to be here. So today's episode is going to be a little educational. It's going to be pretty chill. And when I say a little educational, I mean more so like just educational on our new guest here, which if you want to take the time to say what up to the people, let them know where you're from, let them know what you're about. Mr. Trae himself. Go ahead, talk to him, bud.
My name's Trae. I go by Trae K47 at times. I like taking dabs. I like growing.
Hell
talking
yeah.
about weed and just kind of figuring out how to live life, man. One day at a time.
One day at a time, one joint at a time, one life experience at a time. Me and Trae have known each other for maybe we can go on a couple of like weeks now. I'd say it's going on a couple weeks solid. But I feel like the chemistry is there between us. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you're a good guy. I think we see the genuine in each other. We do work in the industry, and I don't know, man. Trae came through out of nowhere for me with some life experience at the age he is. In a good way. Like I'm saying, like I felt like you had some shit to teach me, and I feel like there's some humbleism that you recognized with me, hopefully, and like it was just kind of a common mutual, and I think we had a lot of similarities before we even knew we knew each other type things.
I think it's just easy to talk. I feel like definitely get along very easily. It's just easy to talk for sure.
I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn too, but I'm pretty easy to talk to. So as well as you are though, too though. Honestly though, Trae, you are a down to earth guy.
I'm an open book, man. I'll talk about whatever.
Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of the same way too. There's nothing I don't shy to I'm not like, there's nothing I don't really like not to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, first of all, I'll go into a little bit of me. I think we're gonna do a little bit of stuff knowing each other here.
Yeah.
And this kind of what this episode will start off with is I've been smoking, bro, since I would say high school overall. I've been smoking weed since high school, confidently, rolling myself, chilling. Definitely high school. Yeah, that all started. I was actually drinking before I started smoking.
Yeah.
But once I smoked weed, though, it was fucking life-changing, I feel like, man. My first little experience getting high was with the water. Homemade water. Bottle. Yeah, a little homemade water bottle, little bong, though, not the gravity one. The gravity.
Just the water bottle.
We're talking the foil.
Yeah.
We're talking the chokehold.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
like
that was
a socket wrench.
My first time.
Get the screen out the kitchen sink.
Bro, yeah. Seriously. Little MacGyver moves.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Yeah.
I feel you, man. Basically, same here. Just, started in high school. Just kind of grew over time. Kind of tried convincing my mom that it was more medical and kind of beneficial versus being just more recreational.
I think that's the cool thing that we can kind of have a relation there too, is though some people don't really let their parents know about the marijuana use, let alone let them know they're smoking, let alone drinking. That's something I did at a young age too. I would say this would be sophomore year of high school, maybe. I was thus smoking, and it was kind of like around my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like it was more so she wasn't super mad, but she also was like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
And this is kind of like the breaking relationship that we had. Is one day I dead ass was like, "This is before I rolled. Like I could know how to roll papers. I had a pack of tops.
Okay.
Shout out to the paper rolling tops, and I had some bubonic chronic, some good ass weed. And I said, "Mom, like my bowl had just broke," and I was like, I have weed. I don't know how to smoke it, and I can't roll." And she did the awesome mom thing that moms I feel like should be doing, and was like, "Bring it here." And I was like, "What do you mean bring it here? You're gonna flush my stash? Like, what's gonna happen?" This woman thus proceeded to roll one of the coolest 80 joints I've ever seen.
That's dope.
No filter, no nothing like that. Pearled it, and she was like, "Yeah, here." Handed it to me, and I smoked in the living room with her. Like, she didn't even smoke it with me, but she allowed me to smoke it in her living room.
Yeah.
And that right there, I felt was like a defining moment in the relationship that we had, me and my mother. So I think it's cool that you are open about it with your parents, because I used to look not look down, but just was frustrated with kids. They'd be like, dude, no, we can't, like, what?
Yeah.
Like, we don't. And I'm like, what?
There's a way to communicate about it,
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? How did you kind of go about that with your parents? Like you were obviously saying that you were trying to tell them that it's more of a medical use, right?
It was at first kind of just like, you're too young to be doing that type of thing. But then over time, it just turned into like, how can we talk about this and figure out, why are you doing this? And then start talking about anxiety and all that type of stuff. Started figuring out that I wanted to use a little bit of CBD, so experimented with a little bit of like CBD vapes and stuff like that.
Nice.
Ended up transitioning towards getting a medical card.
Wow.
Going to dispensaries, getting some CBD weed at dispensaries and stuff like that.
Do you? I don't mean to interrupt you. Sorry. Do you have a medical card right now?
I do have a medical card. I've had a medical card since I was 18. Been going to a dispensary since then. It was super interesting going to a dispensary when I was under 21 because they had different procedures. Like they had to put a wristband around me at certain dispensaries because they would have to like mark me as under 21.
But you're underage in the
medical facility.
Nice.
So it's under 21, but as long as you have a medical card, you're allowed to go in there, purchase anything that you'd like. So
I didn't even know that was a thing.
It's basically just as long as you have a med card, you're allowed to go in there, and they don't have any limits on what you can buy. So like, I don't know if it's different if you're below 18, but when I was 18, I was allowed to smoke and do anything that you were allowed to do in the dispensary, which is interesting because you're not allowed to smoke tobacco at 21.
Exactly.
18.
Yeah,
it's 21 now. So
it is 21 now, but at the time obtaining it was 18, right? Yeah.
Well, it was weird because it was like they had it where you couldn't smoke tobacco at 18, but you can smoke weed at 18 in the laws. So it's just kind of one of those weird situations where it's like, all right, well, they're not really like stopping me, so
Exactly. It is kind of one of those, you could say, a loophole, if you will.
It's not even a loophole. It's just like kind of an oversight. It's kind of like
That's good. That's a better word.
It's just like a little weird way that the law works, where it's sometimes they make it set up where you're allowed to do something, and if you were to ask someone, should you be allowed to do this at that age, they might not say yes, but then it's just how the law ended up. So that's how it ended up.
It's super interesting to me too that they would not only let you into the building, but understanding that you have the medical card, so therefore trying to help you find the right situation, the CBD or THC that you wanted or were trying to obtain, goes to show how caring the industry is. I think I got a
different treatment than a lot of people in the recreational industry did, because they had a separated section for medical and they allowed more time to talk about things. So I was able to get an education, and a lot of times I was talking to the supervisors, and so I was being able to kind of like skip past some of the like people that didn't know as much, and I was able to get more information on a lot of the things.
Some of the non-experienced people that kind of will, not to say that people are bullshitters, but
not BSing, but they're trying to explain it and they don't fully understand it themselves. So getting an explanation from someone that's been a veteran in the industry for many years is a very different kind of explanation. So I was able to kind of skip past a lot of the things that people get stuck on for a long time and able to focus on the things that I feel like actually kept advancing my learning.
I will say I'm a little, the word I want to say is jealous, because and it's good though. It's good for you. Jealous of me because I wasn't sure if I should be getting a medical card, but jealous is just like, it was just easy to access because you were aware of your own situation. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's jealousy of like, damn, like I wish I kind of would have known better that, it was more.
And I'm very fortunate because my parents were okay with that.
Exactly.
I really wouldn't have been able to get a medical card and do all that without my parents. I did have the money to do it at the time, but I wasn't living on my own, so I would have had to kind of like.
And that's what I mean by jealousy, is because I wish I wish more parents kind of took it that serious, is what I'm getting at. Because my mom, she understood that THC is something out there that I have access to now at this age. But she also was like, yo, like I prefer if you didn't run around the streets, buying and doing such things and doing ignorant things with this, product that you have. Yeah. I'd rather you be at home and chill about that. So I did have that common, agreement with her. So that is when it was more of a self-analyzation, like, all right, this is something I have access to, but I shouldn't abuse it. I really shouldn't. And I love marijuana as much as I do. And I'm blessed to be exactly in the kind of same situation. We're blessed to be here to discuss situations like this and be able to experience how THC affects other people's lives, whether it be negative or positive. And I think for you and I, Trae, it's definitely in a positive way. It's an uplifting way. And that's kind of what we're here to do. We're here to let people know that, this not only changed our life for the better, but it's going to continue to change our life, which comes into the next subject of where do you kind of see yourself, thus, if in industry or in like not in the industry? Like, where do you think you see yourself in a couple of years from now?
I definitely think continuing in the industry. Just for me personally, I see myself kind of a couple different pathways that I could go down. It's just whatever opportunities open up.
Sky is the limit, my boy.
But yeah, it's kind of just something that there's a lot of different avenues you can go down within the industry. It's not just limited to one kind of aspect. You have the retail, you have the cultivation, you have kind of like brand representation, marketing. So there's a lot of different kinds of aspects of the industry, and there's a lot of brands that are evolving. And so it's cool to see the market kind of change. And every year legislations change statewide, federally.
Taxes.
So we have no idea where it's going to be in a couple of years. So,
and it's very interesting.
I do see myself staying in part of the cannabis industry, but you never know. It could go bottom up. But it's just kind of one of those things. You just kind of see the opportunities as they come. I don't think I can really choose exactly where I want to be, but
you have a say though. You have a say.
There's definitely some say in it, but there's a lot of just kind of who you know and what you kind of fall into.
I agree with that. I agree with that too, because myself, I definitely see myself eventually branching out to a grower's mindset, hopefully in a couple years, with with the access and the tools that I have, and the capability that I have. Living in Illinois, I know it's kind of tough to grow out here. I feel like we had this discussion in the last episode, but I do feel like it's a little bit more of a challenging being all 4 seasons here. So there's going to be a little bit more of an indoor climate usually, or if you can plan it right in the summer, really, you just have
to have good timing and you have good plant knowledge. If you put the plants out too early, it'll stress them out a ton. It's just kind of one of those things that if you're just trying to get something that's smokable, you'll be able to do it. But if you're trying to get something that's like optimal, it's kind of hard to get that. Especially here, it's just kind of like limited in terms of like how much you can grow. So
it's very limited.
I think that's the biggest limitation here. But I think besides that, it's definitely just difficult weather as well.
I feel like weather plays the biggest aspect out in Illinois with growing certain flowers or certain strands, if you will. That need extra care and that don't lack, like when they get hit with weather that's cold, or in the middle of summer we have cold days, like stuff like that can kill a plant instantly, and that sucks. But again, it's like you said,
and even if it doesn't kill it, it can stunt its growth and make it just kind of not get the same trajectory. You want things to kind of take off at a certain point, start getting faster. And if it's not allowed to establish its kind of root system, get, maturity before it gets stressed, then those stresses will compound and just, get worse over time.
I do like the fact that, people are allowed to grow nowadays too. I love the fact that it's legal to grow, which is awesome as hell.
Yeah. There's a lot of legalization around the growing, and there's a lot of decreasing penalties around growing when you're not doing it the legal way, which is another big thing. Possession, whatever you call the word, but that being the crime sentencing for that being reduced as well is huge. Having it where you're not getting in trouble for having a large amount in public. I was reading stuff about Wisconsin having certain cities that have areas where the possession way that they have it regulated is different in certain municipalities. So it's interesting seeing the way that different states go about the changing of things, because it's not always where the whole state agrees at the same level. Sometimes it's where different local areas have conflicting opinions. Like, I remember we had different things that got shut down in local municipalities. Like there was a sesh bus that was going around and just kind of stopping at different dispensaries. And then we have local areas that are either okay with it or not okay with it, because public consumption is not technically allowed in Illinois.
It's not, right.
And so,
and for people that don't know what that is, it's a bus. It's kind of like a carrier bus where you're allowed to go from, is this from dispensary to dispensary, or is it from like bar hopping situations too?
It's just kind of depending what the sesh bus wants to do.
Okay, so it's kind of like a party bus in a way, certain limitations, but it's a very marijuana friendly bus that you're allowed to, I guess, kind of like ferry around town.
It's kind of
smoking it.
It's kind of weird because a lot of that's just ending up being gray market, because you aren't allowed to smoke in public in Illinois, and so they're just kind of doing some thing where they're doing it, and then some municipalities will be okay with it if it's within a closed area or something like that, but it's just kind of case by case. A lot of times it does get shut down. Cannabis events are something that has to usually be at a private event, private location, because then you can have the jurisdiction over it. You're not having it be a public space which you're not allowed to smoke in.
Have you gone to a cannabis cup or anything like that?
I have gone to a couple cannabis events.
Trae, you're the fucking dopest person in the world.
There was a couple people that were doing some things. There's like some grow store that was doing a little seed swap event. So
nice.
Getting to just kind of talk to different local people doing genetics. There's been some, hash events where it's just kind of people getting together, people that are, extracting their, grow, getting together, sharing their knowledge about it.
More so a small gathering, kind of.
A little small gathering, just kind of like talking to people that are just kind of doing this similar thing. And then there's also like industry events where they have a lot of brands coming together, kind of showing off what they're doing.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
That doesn't happen as often, and a lot of those aren't consumption events, but they do have some of those.
Right. Okay. And where so the consumption events is kind of more so you're testing product, you're more so sampling things and new growth or new cross strands that could be successful. Now we can toss that out for now. Yeah, let it burn out. And then and that's kind of cool where you get to sample some stuff out. I mean, that's something that's on the bucket list for sure. That's up there like number 5. Definitely to go to like a cannabis cup or even a sampling situation where you just go and cross strands and kind of get to know new things that are being, released out in there, the public eyes that look, we've actually been sitting on this for a couple months and we're happy to show you guys. Stuff like that, the unveiling, I guess would say. The unveiling to things like that is awesome. It's monumental to the THC game because we're only going up. The cannabis game is going up from this point. I feel like obviously the government has kind of their hands in a lot of the taxes of it. And that's in certain states, I feel like. In Illinois, we do live in a very high tax state where they put their hands on almost every leaf of the nug. It feels like it just feels like they're touching all of it, and it's kind of hard.
It is relatively high taxes in Illinois. I know Michigan's having their wholesale tax, or at least proposed to be increased. I'm not sure if they were confirmed on going through on that, but it's definitely high taxes in Illinois. There's some other states that are similar, but it's definitely one of the pricier states for sure.
I was lucky enough to go out of state and smoke some weed out of state. I went to Colorado a couple of years back. Nice. I don't know if you're familiar with the famous memes of the 2011 Blue Dream, but definitely was out there in Colorado for that. So I actually copped some Blue Dream, and it was some of the best flower out there. I mean, when you find some good ass flower, going into the next kind of subject too is just. It changes, I think. I don't know. I had some really good weed to change my life in a good way. It was monumental. Definitely. And some of the best strands I've had out there for sure. I mean, off of jump would be some Blue Dream, probably some Sour Diesel, a couple of OG strands here I'll go with. White Widow has been awesome.
Definitely.
I used to smoke a lot of just OG Kush in general. If I could obtain it. I will say, shout out to Rhythm. Because they put me onto a lot of these Go-Gurts, bro. These Go-Gurts are nice.
Go-Gurts is nice.
Rhythm is something I smoked also in Colorado too, though. And that was like one of my first, I guess you could say, would it be considered a father company, kind of? Or
Rhythm is GTI is the parent company of Rhythm.
So
they have a couple of sub brands.
It is kind of one of the first big names I've been put onto. And just a shout out to them real quick. But other strain wise as well, definitely. Cross strains
flower rosin of the Go-Gurts.
This is,
flower rosin is super interesting. It doesn't dab super well because it still has a lot of the fats and lipids in it that are found within the plant, and those don't necessarily burn very well when you're like dabbing them.
But the smell,
it's a more refined smell than the flower. It doesn't have the chlorophyll smell, and so. Or it has some of it, but not as much of it. And so if you use this to infuse joints or something like that, that's what I would recommend using it for. You can use it in a banger, but a lot of times it just chases it. It's too dirty. Yeah,
I feel like if you're infusing things too, that's like one of the bigger steps of cross training. I used to kind of look down sometimes on people that would be like, we're just gonna mix all this shit together and throw it in one joint. I used to be like, that's kind of disrespectful. In a way, that's how I took it. Yeah, but that's also how some of the best like strands were made. You throwing shit together, throwing a seed together, mixing stuff like that, going in the same pot. So I'm a hybrid man overall though. I do like a good hybrid. Sativa's kind of, if I get a strong sativa, I'm just up constantly, and that's what it's supposed to do. And then if I get a good indica, I eat half the fridge and then I go to bed. You know what I'm saying? I like a good hybrid because that puts me where I need to be. I'm coasting, I'm floating, I'm high, and I'm not like super hungry. I'm not super like up. I'm literally just high. Like I'm at a plateau, and I'm okay with that. That's good for me. That's what I need to be at. So
Definitely.
anything when it's a hybrid and it's a double strand, that's just like that cherry on top of a fucking banana split for me. Like it's awesome. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I like mixing strains. Sometimes it's nice to have a consistent thing. I used to have kind of like varied moods when I was smoking different things from the dispensary, just getting different stuff all the time. I'd kind of notice just having mood swings when I would get something good or bad. I would just be like really happy or super upset. And then when I started just smoking the same thing over and over and over, I was realizing like, hey, my moods are actually a little bit more consistent, and I can like predict how I'm gonna feel, and it's a little bit easier to just kind of like not think about things,
function, and not only not think about. I think that is that's a good example of not think on things. Like sometimes when you get some good weed, the concept I think is my opinion. The concept is you're gonna get a high, and you're just letting your mind kind of relax because something either is stressing you out, or you don't really want to worry about the situation, or you've had a long day and you'd like to unwind. You're entitled to do that as an adult. You're allowed to unwind. What you choose to unwind with is your choice. We drink responsibly here at Roll It Up, have a beer. We smoke responsibly here, smoke. We think responsibly here, and we work out. You know what I'm saying? We do what we have to do. So at the end of the day, yeah, I'd like a fire ass strand to unwind with, and it eases my mind. It does. Now, usually when you get high, Trae, what is your kind of go-to situation at the crib? Do we play the game? Do we chill? Do we go out for a long ass walk, maybe a hike? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like on a good, if you know you're gonna get super baked, do we have a go-to plan?
I definitely like going on walks. I love playing video games.
Hell yeah.
I love just, hanging out in the garden, talking to the plants. Sometimes they need some companionship.
The mother in you.
Sometimes you need to pick some caterpillars off them.
Hell yeah, that's right. That's right.
There's different things you got to do. So I definitely think it's just something that enhances a lot of things. I think it's hard to just kind of make smoking the activity. It's definitely something that enhances other things for me. I feel like it's harder to have it be the activity nowadays for me.
Yes, example would be tonight. I was gonna say tonight. Last night, I got home from a pretty stressful day, and I had a pretty good chunk of an edible.
Yeah,
and it hit me. Like I was doing a task, you know what I'm saying? I was like putting laundry away. I was actually doing laundry, putting it away, had a lot to do. But once I finished the laundry, I got the smidge of like, it was like almost like an anxiety attack because now I have nothing to do. I realized it was more so I walked myself through the whole process. I had nothing to do. Now I'm like, the laundry's done, it's put away, and I'm super high. So it's like, what do I do? Do I just sit here and like start to breathe heavy, panic? Or, you know what I'm saying? No, like you said, it's kind of like do something, like put your mind to use now, because your mind is everything's shooting a mile a minute. Let's use this. Let's go. Let's build something, or let's play the game, or let's fucking function. You know what I'm saying? Like
something that helps me is I remember hearing one time that anxiety has a purpose. It's supposed to give you adrenaline to give you the energy to do something.
Exactly.
So you just need somewhere to put it.
Exactly.
A lot of times that's the problem is you just trying to, chill, have a good time, and then you get some anxiety, and that's like, oh fuck, now I got to go work out, or I got to go, do something to clear my head.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that is what you have to do. You got to do something. So that's something that I feel like smoking has helped me realize is it's like literally just going outside helps so much. And a lot of times I've been able to like, not even have to smoke and just go outside. And so it's helped me develop good habits outside of the smoking. It's funny. I had a therapist tell me one time that while they didn't condone cigarettes, they were saying it was a very good thing because it's forcing you to take deep breaths repeatedly throughout the day, just taking breaks.
Interesting.
And
wow.
It's interesting because it's like going outside and taking deep breaths really resets your mental, and it's a good way to just kind of like, get back to grounded state. So I feel like that's something that a lot of people kind of just like don't think about is how much power you have over your nervous system and just kind of like resetting it.
That's exactly what I'm getting at too, is just more so knowing your body and your mind. Like when you feel something anxious happening, or when it's like a gut feeling too. You almost feel, I don't know about you guys, but like I almost feel like a gut feeling, like something's about to happen, and it's like, my intestines hurt. Like for real. I'm just like, and then at the same time, you're like, you know what? There's a reasoning to this. I feel like sometimes you're overreacting, but at the same time, it's like I really wasn't overreacting, because 9 times out of 10 that situation happened. But I do know that though, weed does cleanse the mind, I feel like sometimes. And I do agree with going outside and being grounded. It's more so like people call it grounded or being earthed because if you're familiar with the experience of going to like a festival or something like that, or even just going outside in your own backyard, just socks off though, no shoes, no socks. People may combat to say the hippie way if you want to, but it is being earthed though. Like there is a connection to the earth, grass, toes, and skin. Yeah, that all it all like a couple breaths of like a cigarette, like you're saying. It's resetting the mind.
Yeah,
and I do think that cannabis is really good for the mind, though, for real. Like that shit is intriguing. Like they go hand in hand. And going into we got a couple more subjects too. Actually, going into the next subject too is just some of the greatest experiences you have while high. Though, can you think of some of them like fun though? Like chilling, vibing, or you saw someone get too high and you helped them through that situation, or you got too high and you were helped through a situation. You know what I'm saying?
I think I've definitely had some good moments, some bad, a lot in between. I'd say some of the best moments have honestly just been sitting alone at home, just kind of like recording to a camera, because just kind of talking out some random thoughts is kind of.
Oh, you're on some naked and afraid shit.
I just like talking. I feel like it's something that I don't get to do enough, even though I talk all day.
Okay.
And just being able to kind of talk things out and have that freedom to flow. I feel like it's a creative outlet that has less limitations for me than other mediums. Sometimes I feel like it's hard to express myself in a short form, and so I just need to talk for a long time.
Yeah.
And so I feel like for me, I just kind of I've literally done this for just kind of literally sitting down, smoking, talking to a camera.
Yeah, and that's
I feel like it's something that's just kind of therapeutic.
It is therapeutic too. Like honestly, like I was telling you about the whole podcast situation too. Is like I was very skeptic or a little hesitant to jump into the camera scene, let alone be the star of a roll it up situation. So I did look at the opportunity to get a show that consistently talks about marijuana as like a blessing, because like, dude, I don't know. I was on the fence on it for a while because like I don't know, the picture that I'm painting myself for other people to see is just like this fucking guy sitting there. There's
a big stigma around it for sure.
Yeah, you're just getting high talking about how you feel, and it's like, dude, but I'm also just getting high talking about how I feel. Like it's the same. It's just how you see it and how you how you take it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not. Yeah, exactly. It's almost a therapeutic thing because look, you're not the only person doing this. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to. You're not the only person doing this. You're not the only person that feels that way. And other people also feel that way, and they're maybe twice as passionate about it. They're also on the same page, and they're like, dude, no, like I feel you more than that. And it's the relief spec on that too. And I think podcasting in itself is taking a uprising just because of that situation. It's the feeling of comfortability and a mic and an audience that, they're judgmental, but they're also open ears. Definitely. They never say all viewers are like, all viewers are viewers. Simple as that.
They're just real.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna view.
You get a wide spectrum of people.
Exactly. Like there's gonna be your handful of that shit's wag, turn it off, unsubscribe. And there's gonna be a handful of God damn, this was the greatest video I've ever seen. Holy shit, I relate. This helped me, like, and that's it. You have to.
You ever feel like with what you just said, that shit's whack?
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's more of a person thinking? Kind of like the restaurant ideal. You go to a place, you just look at the menu, and like, you know what? I want to try this. It doesn't look good. But once you try it, you never know what to like. So you have a taste. Then you can say, okay, this tastes bad. Now let me talk to the chef. Let me tell the waiter, hey, you know what? This needs a little bit of salt. This needs pepper.
Yeah.
I think the problem is that we're so quick to judge and just let it be and not try it at all.
It's always good to be open-minded because yes, you're not being so close-minded to like, look, this is my boundaries, and if anyone crosses those boundaries, they're disrespecting me. It's not that easy. It's more so you're not being optimistic, and this is their view on it. So therefore, do you respect that or do you not respect it? And that's what it is. Even if you disrespect it, it's cool. You can be like, I respectfully decline. It does look disrespectful to people. Like I've talked about this on the show plenty of times. If I invite a guest over and like, nah, bro, your show's whack. That's disrespectful, but that's their opinion. And is it? Do I perceive it as disrespectful? No, I don't. At their opinion, that's cool. I know that it's a loss on both ends, on my end and your end, but kind of your end no more because you suck. No. Yeah.
Do you feel like that's more of a? Somebody would say that to you because they're not doing what you're doing.
Yes, and I've had declines. I've had like a no thank you. I've had a that's not my kind of platform. I've had a maybe this time, this date, and then it never followed through. And that just comes with the demographic, though. Like that's like you're kind of saying with the chef's point of view too. Is like, look, I've had a cheeseburger, but I've never had it with Swish, and I don't want lettuce on it. You know what I'm saying? But this other person is everything on the burger. Don't leave nothing out. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's everyone has their own. Yeah.
Me as a taco fan, like when it goes to, I love my taco pastor. I always love taco pastor. I'm the first guy to never put salsa on my taco. I say you had to try it dry to see how good the chef prepared it. If the taste is there, you don't need the sauce until later on. Now you put the spices on it. Now you actually can add more to it because you already tasted the taste of the actual taco itself.
You know what you're working with for sure.
Hell yeah.
You know what the chef cooked. Now you know what he did, and you can say, okay, this is good. Now let's see what it's like with salsa on it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I do like that. That's a good analogy. And that's how a lot of, I feel like the U.S. is treating the THC industries right now. And we're blessed to be in Illinois where, someone like me and Trae are in the industry. Is like Illinois has accepted it, whereas other states are like, dude, don't bring that devil's lettuce here. They're like, don't you even plant a seed that's related to THC in this freaking ground. And that's wild to me, though. That's insane. Because hemp has been here for 20 million years, bro. Like billions years. Like, and for them to be like, yeah, THC is wild. I get the, I get the government profiting off it because that's America, bro. We profit off everything. You know what I'm saying? They profit off McDonald's. Okay, simple as that. So it's the longevity, though. I think of going into the industry is like I think both of us will benefit heavy as hell if we really apply. And honestly, like I feel like we both. The stars aligned, I think, is what I'm getting at too. The stars aligned to where it's like people in the industry recognize other passionate people.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to. Like the passion that other people see is
right
like
now. The industry is not very big because it's not on a federal scale.
Yeah,
and so it's just a bunch of really small pockets of people doing cool stuff. And there's not that much people doing actually cool stuff because there's just a lot of big businesses, at least especially in Illinois. There's just a lot of big businesses that are able to buy up the licenses because they're so expensive and no one else can really compete. And then in other states, they have such wide varied markets and it's just kind of a different scene. So Illinois is going to get there maybe, but I think whatever happens is definitely going to change because with the federal legalization, everything's going to be different. So you never really know.
Yeah, you don't know.
Anything can change at an instant in this industry.
And we do
that's one of the things that's kind of
we do have big growers out here in Illinois too. Like IC Collective is one of the biggest, I feel like, Illinois brands out here that they grow hella in Illinois, and they have the profit and the demographic to do so. And so it's doable and it's achievable. And even if you go out of state, though, if you were to go out of state to another state, there is an ideal state that you would go to for cannabis. And like,
there's a lot of good ones. Like Michigan is really cheap to get a startup in.
Okay, hell yeah, Trey. I wouldn't have guessed Michigan for you.
You can go to Washington, Oregon.
Okay.
California is cool, but it's expensive.
Hell
it's kind of like, there's a ton of options. Like Colorado's sick. Florida has medical.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things that are going for each state.
Have you traveled out of state at all?
I have traveled out of state. I haven't been out of state since I turned 21, so I haven't really smoked anywhere else. But I've been kind of just like reading up on a bunch of different stuff, talking to different people. I definitely think that there's just an interesting difference between like the crazy price difference between Michigan and Illinois and how their structure is set up with the businesses.
Yeah.
It's so crazy different how the limits for mold in Michigan are 100 times the limits for Illinois. In Illinois, you can have 1,000 colony forming units, and in Michigan, you can have 100,000 colony forming units in your bud. And so it's just kind of one of those things that's weird to have such a huge difference in. And it's different in every state. So that's one of those things that if federal legalization does happen, would hopefully get regulated across all states and wouldn't be so drastically different so that you can expect a consistent quality when you're going state to state. Because that's one of the things where the high
if you're traveling,
the high end and the low end of different markets are very different, where the bottom end of stuff that you can get in Illinois is bad, but it's not as bad as some other states where you can get some crazy stuff. And it's like,
they'll let you leave there with fucking bags full of shit and like and product that you can try. And it's also different product and it's amazing as product that you can try. Whereas other states, the limitations are like, yeah, you can experience this to a limit. And then after the limit, like your ass is going to go to jail. which is kind of wild. And I don't really understand it, but I know from base to base, it's very interesting. And we're going to get into this last subject, I think, going into it. I mean, hopefully coming up soon. And this last subject, though, going on that hand of it is honestly the THC going state by state. If you're traveling, you notice that different states do have different legalizations and going through it. And I am concerned for other states that don't legalize it. And I'm curious to see your opinion on some places that are willing to grow. And that places that you think should be growing. Like, are there any states that don't grow right now that you think should be growing?
Well, I have an interesting point to your question.
It's
kind of like an interesting anti-question. You can technically grow in any state with the Farm Bill,
okay,
because of the way that it's currently set up. With the point, I think it's like 0.05 or whatever. It's a low percent of THC. I probably didn't get the number right, but the point is you can grow CBD or you can grow THCA products.
Facts. It is THCA.
And in a lot of states, the testing isn't necessarily checked up on very closely. It's kind of one of those things that's gray market in a lot of areas. And so I think that's something that is definitely going to change. But I think the legal CBD industry in many states is something that is very interesting, because you can do it in states where it's not allowed for THC production, but you can still utilize the climate for hemp production. I feel like
easily, like, because of the environment, it's really easy to grow. Like,
because some places are perfect to grow weed, but you're not allowed to grow weed.
That's what
so you can only grow CBD or things like that. So I think that's an interesting thing that not enough people are paying attention to, is the fact that you can grow CBD in all 50 states. There's not enough people doing that.
I think there's a great answer to that question, because that's a perfect point. Do you feel like they should? Well,
so it's like, if you want to grow somewhere, you can grow CBD there. You might have to wait for them to legalize it, but if you have a CBD farm established when they become THC legal, hopefully, then you'll be able to hopefully get your farm transitioned over, and then you already have the infrastructure for your farm. You don't really have to set anything up, and so you're at an advantage. That's something that a lot of people just kind of like don't really want to invest in, because they don't want to sell CBD, or they don't see the returns in it. It's not necessarily as profitable as THC, but it's one of those things that I personally just feel like, if you love the game and you just want to farm,
if you want to get your hands on it and actually,
it's just a way to get started. It's kind of one of those things that a lot of people end up going into gray market with it, because they're not making enough money with CBD or stuff like that. They have the land, but they just need to do that. So that's just, one of those things that it's an industry that gets tainted because of a lot of people doing shady business, but there's a lot of legitimate people growing CBD legally through the USDA Farm Bill. And it's one of those things that it should be more common for people to want to be a CBD farmer or something like that. It should be something that's more acceptable, because there's ways to isolate.
Say it again. They should want to.
There's a way to isolate the CBD and use it in products that can be used alongside the THC that you can't necessarily get in a plant that's grown for THC, because a lot of those have had the CBD bred out of them. So you can't collect that CBD from them. So you need it from somewhere. So if you're going like a 1-to-1 or 20-to-1, whatever,
5-to-1,
because they don't allow THC in a lot of the areas, but a lot of times they're not checking super closely on the tests, or it's weird. They have testing before they're actually harvesting the plants, and the harvests are
not cured yet.
And the THCA turns into THC over time. So a lot of times you just kind of end up getting lower test results because of the timing. So
and that should be part of the I think that should be part of the process for other states. If they really don't have it legalized there, they should look into it and honestly grow some things that would be beneficial for them, though, because honestly, it's state by state. I think it's going to be beneficial for overall a lot of fucking states. I mean, look at a lot of places that already have legalized it, like right up north Canada. They're like, fuck it, you can drink and smoke it. We don't fucking care. You can go to the strip club too. That's fine. Make sure you go to work tomorrow. And here's healthcare. Like, they don't give a fuck. If you get injured, we got you. Or if you look at like Amsterdam, everything's just like they have legalized psychedelics in another way. And if you're allowed to grow these things in these places, I just think that you should just it's gonna sound a little economical, but profit from it in a business aspect, hopefully, because it's profiting as in beneficial for your health. That's what I'm saying. Like, health wise, it's going to help you more than hurt you. If you learn about it and consider the thought of it and really think about the health benefits from it. Like I said, cannabis is just honestly a growing industry constantly. And I do love it. I'm glad to be a part of it. I think, Trae, you are well beyond glad to be a part of it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Very
And
fortunate.
and it's really cool. And it's awesome that we can have literally a podcast giving the facts and giving the knowledge on the THC, because it's dope as fuck here. Roll it up. We do all the drugs here, okay? Responsibly. We drink responsibly. We do good shit here. I think we can wrap that up there with that being said, though. But yes, I do love the guest, Trae. That's my boy. Shout out for coming. Thank you for being here.
Thanks
yes,
for having me, brother.
This was a dope ass show. If you had anything else to say to people, because we're out here chilling, please let them know. But
you can find me on Instagram at TraeK47Grows. I'm gonna be posting on YouTube at some point, but we gotta figure out what I'm doing with my plants. So we'll see.
That's right. Yes. All right. With that being said, peace, love, soul, roll it up all day. You're gonna hit end episode, and then there'll be a little bit of a countdown, but we'll edit the rest of that out there, though. Oh yeah, that was good. That was really all I needed for the night. Hell yeah, that was. Damn, that was good. Oh, that was good, Trae. Oh yeah,
this shit burns the fuck out my pivot.
You're good.